Okay, so tonight's main focus is going to be about how to do a hybrid gel fill. And the good thing about our nail system is it's not a one-time use. So it's definitely a nail enhancement that you can recommend to your clients who are looking for a product that is very natural feeling. It's thinner to the nail beds. That way you don't have to put so much product on there, and it will last them up to 3 to 4 weeks before they need to come back for a refill. And that's a key note too, because you want to retain those clients that come through your doors. You don't want to just give them a one-time service and then they can go somewhere else and get the service done by another salon or by another nail tech. So you definitely want to tell them that the hybrid gel nail system is a product that they can wear on their nails. They can change the colors if they want to, because we do have them in different colors. And if they want to just wear like a gel polish on their nails, they can also do that as well, because you can just build a clear foundation and fill them as when they come back every 3 to 4 weeks, and then change out the gel polish. And that's what we're going to do today. I did a mock-up on my own nails. I applied products on my nails, and I applied them away from my cuticles to mimic about 3 to 4 weeks of regrowth. And then I'm going to show you step by step on what it takes and what you need to do to prep the nail bed, to get it ready, so that way we can do a refill. And fills are very important because, you know, not just the initial application of the hybrid gel, that's very important as well, but the fill is also very important, because if you don't remove the older product that was on there for 3 weeks and then you fill over that, you may have a lot of issues as far as lifting, discoloration. Maybe, you know, there may be air bubbles where water can get in. So I'm going to troubleshoot some of those areas and show you guys how to really do a good backfill. I know different places, different states, you call them a backfill or a refill or a rebalance. So however you want to call it, it's still basically the same thing, where the client comes back after wearing their nails for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and they come back and they want it redone. So it's like touch-up. And so how I'm going to say it is going to be a refill, because that's what I'm used to. I did nails in the West Coast, and now I'm in the East Coast, and people call it rebalance out here, and I'm just not used to saying that word. But however you guys are comfortable to introduce this or to your clientele, then go ahead and use that word. But I'm going to call this class tonight a hybrid gel refill. Okay, I do want to show you the product that we are talking about. So let me grab the French Collection kit. So I have this kit here. This is our main set for the hybrid gel system, because it does have everything that you need in order for you to get started. So for those of you that have never seen this product before and you want to try this, I recommend you go ahead and get this entire kit, because inside of the kit is going to have the base gel that we need. And I'm going to talk about this base gel because this is a really important step. After we prep the nails correctly, push back the cuticle, I have a couple of different bits that I want to show you how I push back the cuticles to make sure that I get rid of all those dry cuticles or hangnails, even giving them a better cleaning underneath the cuticle area, so that way they can wear their nails a little bit longer. And then after I prep with those bits, I'm going to show you guys that we do want to make sure that we apply the base gel very, very carefully and all the way around the cuticle area, and don't miss anything on the sidewalls, because that's very important. So in this kit, you will have your base gel, your top gel that we need to seal and shine. We've got the hybrid gel brush. This is a green jar, and this is where we're going to put our alcohol solution. And the solution that we need that is not inside of the kit is basically your regular rubbing alcohol. And this is an alcohol volume that you can purchase at the store. So this is 70 volume right here. I recommend you just to get about 70% volume, because you don't want to deteriorate the brush. And before I know I used to recommend 90 to 99%, but as I went through and practiced with that volume, I realized that volume was too high. So now I'm going to come back and say, you know, try not to get the 90% volume of alcohol. 70 is the best. If you can't find 70, you can dilute this a little bit with a 50% grade and a 90% grade, and then just do like 2 to 1 ratio to dilute it a little bit. No matter what it is, as long as it is alcohol, then you're going to be fine using this with a hybrid gel system. And the alcohol is basically for the brush not to stick to the hybrid gel product, and that's the only reason why we use the alcohol, like a slip solution. We don't want to make another solution just to say you have to use this with the hybrid gel system, because basically it's an alcohol base, so we want to just keep it simple. And also in this kit, along with the clear, the pink, and the white, you'll get an additional 5 different pink colors, and these are really nice pink colors also for different skin tones. So for your French ombre sets and your traditional French, these are really good pinks to use with that. And then you'll also get a cuticle stone pusher in this set. I'll put the link on the video after we're done with this class, so that way you guys can check it out on our website. We did put a couple kits together for you to go ahead and get, so that way you don't have to think, what else do I need? Because you do need an LED lamp. You do need, you know, your e-file, your bits and things like that. So I'm gonna turn this camera around and we're gonna start our class, and I'll explain to you what I use for a basic fill to a more elaborate fill. Today I'm not just gonna do a regular fill, because I have encapsulated designs underneath of my nails already. So I'm going to show you how to remove most of that to add in a different color. Let's say you want to, I have pink on here right now, but I want to change to maybe like a purple or a blue. So how do we do that is we're going to really shape this down and thin it out, and I'll show you the bits to use for that. So that way we can do that fill and make it look really nice and fresh, okay? So I want to say again, thank you for those of you that are just joining us. I'm going to flip this camera around. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Okay. Let's see here. All right, so I have my products here. It's all laid out. And I'm going to go through and we're going to talk about them. And thanks for those of you that have been adding your photos to our group. It's really nice to see some of your work that you've done with the hybrid gels. And a lot of my students are telling me that as soon as they get the product, they're so excited to use it. And within the first couple sets, they already know like what they need to do as far as like the pressure, the consistency, how much alcohol you need to use with your brush, how dry you need to put your hybrid gel product on the nail beds to make it work better. So that's great. And this is a really nice system because you don't have to practice for a really long time in order for you to get it. So if anybody have any comments or questions, please go ahead and feel free to share, because I will be reading the comments as I do my class. All right, so let's get started by telling you what we need first, okay? So you definitely do need an LED lamp. This is 48 watts. If you have anything that is under 48, it may not cure as good. So what you need to do is just leave your hands in there for a little bit longer. So if my lamp says I only need 60 seconds to final cure, then you would want to cure in your lamp that is under 48 watts for another minute. So just double up the timing if you don't have at least 48 watts. If you have 72 or 84 watts, and that's perfectly fine as well. It's going to really give you a nice cure. Okay, so you want to have at least a 48 watts LED lamp. We're going to need our base gel, top gel. This is the jar that I talked about. That is only the color of it is green because it's made out of glass. We're going to pour in our 70% alcohol volume. So I have this right here. I'm going to go ahead and set that up and pour that into my jar so I don't forget. Okay, and that's really all you need. You see how little of a liquid that I have in there? This will be enough for a full set, honestly, because we really don't need to use the alcohol to mix with the hybrid gel. It doesn't have to do that. The alcohol only sits on top of the brush or wets the brush, so that way we can apply the hybrid gel really smoothly. And with the alcohol, it doesn't evaporate as quickly either, so you can continue to work with that amount of alcohol inside, and it won't dehydrate or it won't evaporate quickly. So you don't have to pour it all the way to the top. Okay, so we're going to need our hybrid gel brush. One end is your brush, and this is made of 100% Kolinsky, and the other side is just a metal slicer, like almost like a spatula. The reason why I went back and say that now I recommend only 70% volume is because 90 to 99% volume of alcohol is very strong, and it will strip the coating that is on the bristles of the brush. So I didn't realize that after I only used it for maybe 3 months. Then I went back and used my 70% volume alcohol, and then I noticed that my brush was able to last a lot longer. So if you keep your brush really well, you don't have to replace it very frequently at all. Just make sure that we clean it before and after each use, and always put the cap back onto the brush before you store it, and that way we can keep it nice and ready for the next time. Okay, so you have your brush. You're going to I'm going to put these away. So these are my nails that I'm talking about for today. It has grown out about 2 to 3 weeks now, so I have a little bit of a regrowth, and I have some designs on here. So I'm going to show you how to do a fill by removing all of this first. We're going to thin it out, and then we're going to do the fill. So to make life a lot easier, I like to use my e-file. So I have my e-file here. This is 35,000 RPM, which means the unit will speed up the bits and spin it up to 35,000 rounds, which is very fast. So we don't need to spin the machine that fast. I'm going to show you how to turn this on. So every machine is a little different, but for this one, there's a right and a forward, a reverse and forward option. So for left-handed, it's going to be forward. For right-handed, it's going to be reverse, okay? And to turn it on, we're just going to turn it on with the dial. And then it's got a nice LCD screen here to let you know how many thousand rounds per minute it's spinning. So it does go up to 35,000 RPM. Most of the time when we're filing with the hybrid gel to prep the nail bed, we only need about 5,000 RPM. So it's going to read number 5. When I'm doing the cuticle cleanup area with the cone bit after I applied the product, because the hybrid gel system is softer than regular acrylic. So just keep in mind that you don't have to put a lot of pressure or a lot of speed for the bits to work well. So for around the cuticle area, when I'm prepping, it's still 5, no more than 10. But when I'm cleaning up the cuticle area with my cone bit, then I'm going to turn it up to 15,000 RPM. When I file the surface of the nail, I can turn that up even a little bit more, but no more than 25,000 RPM because it is running very, very fast. So if you're not familiar or not comfortable with your e-file and how fast it spins, just go for the lowest speed until you're comfortable. And then as you get faster, then you can turn the speed up even more. Okay, so the different bits that we're going to be using today is going to be this is our tornado bit. This is to remove products, so this is going to be the first bit I use. This is my barrel bit, and it's a safety top, so it's rounded on the top area, so it's less chances for you to nick the skin. So this is my cone barrel bit. This is my cuticle bit. I like to use this around the cuticle because it's a lot thinner and you can see better around the skin area because the tip of it is a cone shape. This here is if I need to use it for an additional cleanup around the corners because it's very nice and pointed, so I can see exactly where I need to go with this bit. This bit here, this is our ball bit. That is also great to clean up all those dry sidewall skin area, and if you have any cuticle on the top area, maybe some hangnails, then we can remove that very easily as well. Okay, this is my mandrel bit that I will be using with my sanding bands, and we have two different types of sanding bands. One is, this is the fine grit, so the higher the number on any kind of file means it's finer. So this will be smoother. And this is 150, so this is a medium grit, so this will be more rough. So we're going to start with using this bit here. And then I got the brush bit too that I'm going to show you at the very end what I use this one for. Okay. Okay, so first off, before I go into my Russian bits to show you what I use to clean up the cuticle area, first thing I need to do when I have my client come back is I need to examine her nails. I'm going to check for any areas that have been lifted, or any of her cuticle area that has been maybe damaged or that is dry. Then I want to make sure I know that so I could be more careful around that area. Okay, so the nails look pretty good. Again, this is like a mock fill for you that I didn't really grow out 3 weeks, but I just made it to where it looks like it is so I could show you how to prep it correctly. So the first step we need to do is remove the embellishments. And what I use to put my crystals and rhinestone on, it is a glue gel. So it is a gel product, so I don't want to try to file it off at this point because it is staying on pretty well. So the first thing I want to do is take a cuticle nipper and just remove the stones first. I clip it right at the base area, right here as well. Make sure we clip that off. Okay, and then these charms are good because if you apply the charms like this with the glue gel, you can save the charms because they are 100% reusable. They're not going to get tarnished, or it's not going to get damaged because we're not using nail glue or acrylic to put them on. So with the glue gel, all we have to do is just soak that in a little bit of polish remover for about 2 minutes, and then it'll dissolve, and then you can reuse the charms. Okay. All right, so now that I have all of the charms off the nails, I'm going to go ahead and file off as much as I can because I'm going to change the color of my nail bed. I have on here the fuchsia furry hybrid gel color, but today I want to do, let's just do a nice pink and white ombre to show you how to cover if you have something on the bottom. Okay, so the first bit that I'll be using is going to be our tornado bit. And with this bit, you want to make sure that you do speed up the machine pretty fast, because if you don't, because this bit has a lot of facets and grooves, and it's designed to remove products. So if you spin this bit too low, then it's going to get caught on the natural nail beds. So I want to go at least 20 to 23,000 RPM. So I'm going to remove completely the whole shine. Even though I'm just doing the fill right here, I still want to remove all the shine. And this bit is nice too because this has a little bit of a cone shape, so you can get around near the cuticle area if you have to. Okay, so first I'm gonna just remove the shine. Let's say the client likes her nails and she just wants to do a regular fill. You still have to remove all the gel that was on there before. Because this gel has been on here for 3 weeks already, it may have discolored a little bit. And because it still has a shiny finish, if you apply the base gel and start to do the fill, it's not going to stay on as well. So first I always just remove all the shine, because then I could see what's going on with the nails. So these nails I have encapsulation, I have dry flowers inside, I have foil design. So if I'm going to change the color, I need to make sure that I remove as much as I can. So I'm going to continue to use this bit and hold it down and remove the product pretty quickly. So I'm going to take down more because I'm going to be changing the color. So remove all the old design. I'm going to be using the white hybrid gel, and the white that we have for the French is pretty covering. It's not very transparent, so it's going to be nice to cover up the pink color. But at the same time, if I have any of this like encapsulation or flowers that I don't want to let it show, I want to make sure that I get down and remove as much as I can. And this is almost the same like acrylic. So when you do an acrylic set that has a lot of different color and the client comes back and they want to change the color, then we do the same thing, right? We still have to remove most of the foundation, and then we can apply the new color so that way it doesn't show through. So this is the same concept. So I love this bit because it's nice and safe. It really takes the product off really fast. So inside here I have dry flowers and some foil design. I have a video on these nails that I have on my nails right now, so I'm going to post that probably tomorrow to show you guys how I did the butterfly. And I encapsulated the foil this time. All right, can you guys see okay? Okay, so this is some dry flowers. So you want to go gently once you get a little closer to the natural nails. I know that I encapsulated this with just a little bit of clear hybrid on the bottom. So I want to go slower, but still have the speed of the bit pretty fast. You don't want to turn it down too low, because if the speed is low with this bit, this is the tornado bit, then it may get caught onto the nails. Okay, so I'm just using like a down motion, and I'm using like the back side of the bit. That way I can utilize the entire bit for the longevity of the lifespan. If I keep just using the first half of this bit, then it's going to wear off a lot quicker. So by using the base for the end of my nails, it feels really safe. Okay, just move it in a down motion. And this is very common for my clientele, and that's the kind of clientele that you also want to build. Is they will always change their designs on you, which makes it nice because it gives you a lot of chances to be creative. Hi ladies, hi everybody, for those of you that are just joining us today. Right now I'm continuing to just shape down my old existing design, because we're going to do a fill, but we're going to change the look of this fill. It's not just going to be filling around the cuticles. If you had a chance to see the nails that I had on earlier, they were still pretty good. So even if my client wanted to wear her nails for another 3 weeks, I can just fill the cuticle area, but I still need to prep the entire nail. I wouldn't remove everything like this, but I would still remove at least the shine and then do the prepping. So let me get as much as I can first. Okay, this is called the tornado bit that we're using, and this is designed to remove product very quickly. If you're just a beginner, you know, this is a pretty safe bit, but you have to absolutely practice first. Make sure that you have 100% control of your handpiece before you start working on another person. You can practice on yourself. That's actually how I did it when I first started. I've been doing nails for almost 22 years now, and I remember the first couple times that I was going to use the e-file on a client, and I was really, really nervous. So I was very, very slow, of course, because I didn't want to cut anybody. I didn't want to injure anybody's nail bed. So I was very, very careful. But how I got good was I took a ball of acrylic and I put it on a piece of like metal plate, and I let it dry, and then I just started filing with my bit just so I can practice with the proper control. Nowadays we have a lot of practice hands that you can purchase, and you can put a nail on the model or the practice hand and start practicing that way. That's even better because it's an actual finger that you can hold, and that'll make you get used to holding a real client's finger when you go to do a real full set or a fill on somebody. All right, so I think I've got most of all the encapsulated design that I wanted to remove. Some of them are really, really embedded, but that's okay because we're gonna be able to hide all of that with our white hybrid gel. If you use anything that you want to cover, make sure that is 100% full coverage. So if you have any hybrid that is transparent, like some of our colors are transparent, then it's not going to cover as well. So you want to remove most of it. Okay, and let me just remove the dust. Okay, so what you're left with is a nice thinner foundation for us to start. So I removed all of my design as much as I can because you still want to leave a foundation. You don't want to take it all off. I know there's some nail techs out there that actually only want to do full sets. They don't prefer to do a fill. So if you are that type of nail tech, then that's perfectly fine, but just make sure that your prices will reflect that. You know, every time you do a full set, it's like starting all over again. But for a fill like this, and you want to change the color, it's almost like starting over again as well. So if my basic regular fill in the cuticle area, my price range is only $45 for every 2 to 3 weeks. But if they come in and they want to remove everything and start over like this, then I would definitely tell them this fill is going to start at $65 because we're taking the extra time to remove everything and thin everything out. So it does take some time for that. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right, there's a couple questions here. Hi Lorraine, hi Kim, hi Lynn, hi Lisa. All right, so let me see. So Miss Lynn asked, what model hands do you recommend and where can I get it? Lynn, I actually have a model hand available on the website. It's going to be posted by tomorrow because I just got them in, and they're wonderful because they're very, very nice and realistic. So it makes it to where I can maneuver all of her fingers really well. Let me see. I don't have her hand with me right now, but I have a finger that you can remove, and you can practice that way as well too. So you can just replace all of the nails just like that. So I'm going to post the practice hand that I use on my website by tomorrow. So I'll send you guys a link that way as well. Ramona asked, do I use a dust extractor? Actually, I do. I'm going to show you what I have. This is a dust collector that I normally would use if I'm having just a regular real client service, but because this is our class and it gets a little bit loud, I didn't want to just scream and talk over this noise, this dust collector. But let me go ahead and turn it on and show you guys what it does. So this is without the filter. The filter is right here. So I removed the filter. So to insert it, you just put it in from the back side. Let me see if I can show you. So I'm just gonna slide it in and turn it on the side here. So it's not really loud to where if I'm doing a client, I can't talk to her, but because I'm trying to show you guys all the different techniques, I'm not using it right now. But just for a couple minutes, I can show you how strong this unit is. Okay, so now that I removed everything, I'm gonna take off this tornado bit. Can you guys hear me okay over this machine? Okay, the next bit that I'll be using is going to be our mandrel bit. So with this bit, I'm going to insert our medium grit. So we're going to use 150 grit. This is our medium sanding band. And just so you know, if you guys like our bits and you purchase the entire set, you will get a box of sanding bands for free as well. And it's 100 pieces in there, so that's 100 client, which is really nice. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this sanding band on. So we're going to use this sanding band bit to prep the cuticle area. So I'm going to just use this one first and show you what a lot of us only do is we use this one particular bit. But what I like to do is actually go in and clean up the cuticles even a little bit more before I do the fill. And I'm going to show you how I do that with the Russian bits. So just so I can show you what a typical process is for prepping the nail beds, most nail techs would do their prepping work this way. I like to push back the cuticles first. So I'm just going to use my metal cuticle pusher. Okay, gently push back the cuticle. And lay your cuticle as flat as possible. And this is also a good time for you to examine the client's cuticle area, their fingers, and how sensitive they are. Because if you're just gently pushing now and they're already screaming, then you know you're going to have to be really, really careful for the rest of your process. And you want to be careful anyways. All right, so I don't have a lot of cuticles to push back, but I just want to show you that's what I like to do, is just initially push back the cuticles with the metal implement. That way I can examine their cuticle area. Okay, so now we're going to use our sanding band bit. Turn your E-file for this bit as low as possible. So if you don't have a number that you can read on your screen, then just make sure that you turn it as low as possible on the dial, but in order for it to still spin. So for this unit, it starts spinning at 1000 RPM, but for prepping the cuticle area with this bit, I'm going to turn it to 5000 RPM. Okay, first I'm going to lay this bit as flat as possible. And just use the very, very edge of the sanding band bit, because it's a paper sander, so you do want to make sure that you use very less pressure, very low pressure, and follow the cuticle area. Okay, now I'm going to turn this dust collector on. So very carefully, just go around the cuticle area. Lay your bit as flat as possible. Try not to angle it. Just kind of let it float on top of the nail surface. Okay, just push back with the cuticle, the edge of it. And then you also want to use this bit for the entire nail surface. So when you do that, because sometimes my bit can slow down and get caught, you want to turn the speed up just a little bit more, just a tiny bit more. So now it's at a 7,000 RPM, and I can quickly move my bit through the whole nail. I want to create like a rough surface on my on the rest of the nail area. Still holding it at a 0-degree angle. You see all my dust? It just basically collects into this machine. So I already did the cuticle area. Now I go back and I do the nail bed. So it makes it a little bit faster. Yeah, Ramona, this is not a very loud machine compared to something that I had in the past. I've used units before where it is so loud that it makes it very uncomfortable for the service, and my clients hate it because they love to talk. Even when I have this on or the other one, they try to talk to me and I'm like, I can't hear you. But with this unit, you can actually talk while you're doing the service. Okay, so I just want to show you guys quickly what's going on so far. So prepping with the sanding band bit, it is efficient enough, but if you want to make your service last even better, I recommend for us to go and use some of these bits here that are diamond bits, and these are considered for a Russian dry manicure using the E-file, but I like using them also for the hybrid gel fills because I'm able to, like for example, use the cuticle safety bit, this one here, because it's very, very narrow. I can go in and actually push back the cuticles even a little bit better. Even manually, you can see I can already get some of that dry skin up underneath of my cuticle area to help me to better adhere the hybrid gel. So just by prepping it with the regular sanding band, it's good enough, but if you want to make your fills and your cuticle to look even better, I recommend we use some of these bits, and I'm going to show you, because right now I'm just flipping up my cuticle area just to show you that there's some of these dry areas that I feel some of my cuticles is still underneath there, and I could clean that up even better to make my hybrid gel base layer lay down better so it doesn't lift. And that's one of the things that I recommend, that you do take time to really get in and clean up those corners, because that's where it always tends to lift first. It's in these corners that we're not able to get in because the bit is too big. It basically just makes sense. Like if you can't get in there well enough, then you have stuff still left on the nail bed. And the problem with some nail techs are they're very aggressive with this particular sanding band bit, and that's not what you want to do. You don't want to use this so aggressive to where you damage the natural nail plate, where you put an indentation into the natural nails because you're just trying to get into that one corner. So you're angling the sanding band too much at the tip and just to try to hit that corner, and then you created a fraction on their natural nails, and that's not what you want to do at all, because that will create damage as it grows out. That's why a lot of my clients will come back and tell me that your fills are great because I don't even see any lines. Like if they decide to take their nails off and just do a regular manicure, they can still do that and not get that really, you know, that red line or the line of fire they call it. Okay, so yes, Ramona, there is a video out on my YouTube showing how to use these different bits, and in a couple more days I'm going to upload another video that I just shot yesterday on how to really get this nice and clean for just a regular manicure. So look out for those. Okay, so first bit I'll be using from here is going to be this safety cuticle bit, and I have them numbered, and it's also numbered on the website to tell you what each one does. Okay, so turn my e-file. With the diamond bits, these are also 100% reusable and sterilizable, so you just want to clean it like your regular bits. After you're done with the client, just wash it with soap and water, dry it out, put it into the quartz for 10 minutes, soak that, and then dry it, and then you can sterilize it one more time in the UV light if you like. So for the cuticle area, I'm going to be using only up to 5,000 RPM. So that's a very low setting. So first off, I still will start with everything at a 0-degree angle. And I can slowly push up with this bit. I hope you guys can see this really clearly. Okay, just hold it as flat as possible. So this is great because some of these areas that I couldn't get with the sanding band because the angle was kind of weird, and it's hard for us sometimes to also get our clients to help us to relax. So you sometimes will miss some of these corners. All right, so I'm going to hold it at a 0-degree angle, just using the tip of this bit, kind of pushing and floating at the same time. So I'm not really putting a lot of pressure on the natural nails. I'm just letting this lightly glide around the cuticle. This is not the bit that will go underneath the proximal fold here. It's another bit that I will show you that's a little bit pointier. So this is just to start off my cuticle prepping. So I'm going to focus a lot of time with the prepping explanation because I think this is really, really important. Because if you don't do this step correctly, it doesn't matter what you put on top of the nails. It's not going to last as long. It may look good, but your client may come back and say, oh, it's already lifting, or, you know, I was trying to get 3 weeks out of this nail, but now I have to come back every 2 weeks. And, you know, you're going to charge them kind of a pretty penny for their nail service. So you do want to make it last. A lot of my clients can go 3 to 4 weeks without coming back in. So if they're paying me for the service, then they don't really mind because they don't have to come as often. All right, so that was our first safety cuticle bit. So the next one here, this is the second one that I use for the prepping because it's more of a cone shape. And this tip is very safe, especially because I'm just going to be using about a 5,000 RPM speed on here. So the tip of it is not designed to cut the skin or to puncture the skin. It's only to help us to clean up the underneath of the cuticle area a little bit better. And I think sometimes with clients that have a lot of dry skin, if we don't remove these extra dry area, then that's the reason why they lift easier. So I don't have a lot of cuticle, but if you imagine a client that has a lot of cuticle, using this bit is very, very efficient. See that? Right underneath the corner, I have a lot of dry skin there. So, and then because I'm doing my own hands, it's a little bit difficult, but if you're holding a client, you definitely want to push back their skin like this with your other hand that's holding the finger, and that'll help you see a little bit better. Okay, so you can also run this in the opposite direction. So right now I have it at the forward motion. I'm going to hit it to the reverse, and it's going to spin the opposite direction. So that way I can remove this side of the nail. So especially when you're doing a Russian manicure, you're able to use the bit both ways. Okay, as long as your e-file machine has a function that you can spin it reverse or forward. Okay. So now I feel better because I was able to really clean up all that dry skin and cuticle. All right, so let me put this away. Okay, so the next step, really important. We do want to make sure that we remove all the dust. Even the fine dust can be in our way with the base gel. So I like to use a facial brush like this because the bristles are nice and strong, but it's soft enough to where it doesn't hurt the client. It's not going to scratch up their skin. So I like to brush it in the upward motion. So instead of just down, I'm going to brush up to get all that dry powder, debris away from the cuticle. So that makes it look really nice. First step we're going to be doing is applying the base gel. Remember, the base gel has the primer and the bonder already built into one bottle, so you don't have to use any other dehydrator. So we're going to make sure we start at the center and hold your brush about a 45-degree angle and then carefully press down so that way the brush can cover more of the area of the nail bed and you can make your application go a lot faster. Start at the center and make sure you get all the sides here, because any dry area is going to be the areas where the hybrid gel is not going to bond to the surface, and that's also another cause for lifting. And try your best not to get this base over the cuticle or on top of it, because if it just sits on top of the cuticle area and it cures, you're basically applying product on the skin and that's going to lift first. So get as close as you can to the beginning of the nail plate without touching the cuticle. That's why I really like prepping with the Russian bit, because I can clean up everything in that area so it doesn't get in my way. So when you're even doing a fill, you want to remove the entire shine off the nails from the old design. And then when you apply this base gel, you will still apply the base gel to the entire nail as well, not just the fill area. Okay, so now we're going to cure this for 30 seconds. As long as you have a 48 watts LED lamp, then that's good enough. Okay, so let me put out some of the things that I want to use today for our fill. I just had the pink on the base, so today I want to do the French white with our French pink for the nail bed. We're going to do a nice glittery ombre and add some of these beautiful mermaid scales. These are our, no, actually, I'm sorry, these are called our cosmic circles. I'm going to add some of those in there. That'll make it look fun. Okay, so 30 seconds. The base gel is going to give you a nice, even surface. It kind of self-levels a little bit, so it makes the application very clean for you. So let's get these ready. We're going to need our alcohol solution. And earlier I showed you that this jar is designed for the alcohol solution. You can use any jar. It doesn't really matter, but when you purchase the kit, this one comes with it. It says alcohol solution on there, and we're using 70%. And I already poured a little bit in there, so just a little bit will be enough. You don't need a lot at all. That amount of liquid in there can be enough for a full set. But we're just doing a fill. But this fill is almost considered like a full set, because you have to start almost from the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to cover the pink with my white and do a little bit of a French ombre. And you don't have to do one nail at a time. You can work a couple nails at the same time, because the beauty about this product is it doesn't move, it doesn't slip or slide, and you can speed up the process more that way. So I'm going to dip my brush into here. So I'm going to start off by pushing the product where I need it. So I'm going to tap it up to my ombre section, which is the center, and a little bit above that. I'm going to dip my brush into the alcohol, and the reason why I'm using alcohol is not to mix with the product, it's just to help me with my brush. The alcohol will help me use my brush on top of the hybrid without it getting sticky. So it's going to help me glide my product where I need it. So if I have extra, I'm just going to remove it off. So first step is I always move my product where I need it, and then I concentrate on the coverage. So if you have a client that normally likes to change her nails all the time, you need to let them know that if you want to change your color, just keep in mind that some of the base may show through unless we're doing something that's 100% full coverage. So I could still see a little bit of my pink on the bottom, but that's okay because I'm going to be using glitter and some of these sequins to encapsulate. So that's going to give it part of that design. Okay, so again, I'm just going to move my product, tap it to where I need it. So when I'm smoothing the surface to get that nice shape, I use the entire brush. You see, I use the entire body of the brush, and this is a shorter brush, so you really would need to use the entire brush for the pressure, and this will help you move the product where you need it. So I'm going to remove the extra. So you have 100% control of this product as well, because it's not going to cure or dry or drip on us. You don't have to chase it, and that makes it really user-friendly, especially for beginners. Okay, so in this area here where I want to ombre, I'm going to make sure that I dry off my brush, and then with the dry brush I'm just going to slowly smooth that out to create a nice ombre surface. So this blends really smooth with the natural nail bed. And then I'm going to flash cure that for a little bit. So if you have the extra pieces on your spatula side, make sure you clean that, because it can get pretty messy as you work if you don't clean in between. So I like to fold my paper into 2 halves, and then I clean on the bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to get a little bit more of the white. So you can do one nail at a time, or you can apply it on a couple nails, and then when you work on the nails, it makes it a little bit faster. Okay, so I just get the product where I need it. Smooth it out on both sides. I use my brush, and I continue to do nice little strokes like this. I don't really pat. So I'm going to tap it, but then I'm going to smooth it at the same time. And that's how you get that nice even finish. So if you feel like your brush is not wanting to move very smoothly, then you want to dip it in your alcohol. Okay, I'm going to blend that. So normally in a regular service, when I'm doing this and I'm changing the color on a client, this service here will take me about 35 minutes to apply the product from start to finish, because I'm going to be doing some encapsulation too. So you can get pretty fast at applying the hybrid once you get used to it. And the nice thing is, if you're not happy with the shape yet and you haven't cured it, then you can always go back and fix the shape. Okay. So let's say you're at this stage now and you decide you want to put some glitter and some sequins in there. You can do it at this point because the hybrid is still uncured, it's still wet. So what I'm going to do right now is take some of my glitter and I'm going to apply that to the ombre area and just kind of tap it into the nail. This is the easiest way to do the glitter. Let me do that again. This is just raw glitter. I haven't cured it yet. Just slowly tap it into the hybrid gel. So let's say these nails, because I already cured, I flash cured it, so there's still a little bit of stickiness to it, but it's not enough for me to add any glitter. So in case you already cured it and then you want to add glitter, it's still not too late. So the technique I'm going to show you how to do that is we're going to use our base gel and we're going to apply it where we want to put the glitter. Just a nice thin coat. Still take my glitter and then continue to add. So it's not too late if you decide you want to encapsulate something after you've already cured. So it has a lot of flexibility while you're working with this product. So that makes it really easy for you to still add glitter. Okay, if you want to continue and add some of these sequins, the easiest way to add sequins like this, let me just clean off my spatula side, is to put it on a piece of paper, and that way you can pick out what you need instead of just trying to get it from the jar, because the jar, these sequins are super thin. So sometimes if you just stick your brush into the jar, then you may pick up too much or not enough. So the best way is just to put it on your paper, and as your hybrid is still wet because we haven't cured it yet, you can pick up the sequins and then just apply on the nail and it'll stick really well. So when we cure it, it's going to be on the nail for sure. Because at the very end, we're going to encapsulate this with the clear hybrid gel. So if you need to add more, because we already cured this 3 fingers, I'm going to add a little bit more base gel and then add my sequins. I'm going to skip this middle one because I'll do a design or maybe some rhinestones on that one later. Okay. All right, so I'm going to now cure that in the light for 30 seconds. So it's fun to really add a lot of glitter and sequins into the nails. So Ramona asks, what's your secret to get all the glitter out of the brush? So my secret is, you see that my alcohol solution is still pretty clear. So what I recommend you to do is to clean off your brush first. You know, get a clean side of your paper towel. Just dip your brush into the alcohol, but don't move it around yet. When you get out here, then you'll clean up your brush. So again, dip it into the alcohol, but don't move it in there so that way the glitter won't get into the rest of the alcohol. Clean out your brush first, and then fold your paper back another way to clean off the glitter. So that way when you start to encapsulate it, you're not going to pick up any more of that glitter that was on the paper. Okay, so I do recommend that you want to seal the glitter at this point with the base gel one more time. So it does take a little bit more work for the encapsulation, and the reason why you want to do this part is this base gel is going to help to create that sticky layer and the bond between the hybrid gel and the base gel. And this also smooths out any of those glittery area and seal any air bubble and any section that may cause an air bubble, because if the hybrid doesn't adhere all the way to the nails, then it's gonna have some of those issues. So the more layers of base gel that we use, it doesn't make or break the product. It's just, remember, the base gel will help to bond the area, prep the area, prime it, so that way we can use the hybrid gel to make it stick. I could already tell this is going to look really nice. Okay, so let's cure that for 30 seconds. So if you wanted to, you can add the French pink on the natural nail bed area, like around the cuticle, but I'm going to skip that part because the way that I see, I do like the clear look on my cuticle area, so I'm going to skip that one. But if you decide you want to have a pinker nail bed, you can always use some of our pink French colors from the hybrid collection. Okay, so cure that for 30 seconds. And then the next product is going to be our clear. In the kit, you're going to get this size, so you get the 30 ml, but if you need to refill, you can always get the larger size, because clear I use a lot because I do that for the fill, I use it for the encapsulation, even for the pink and white, I use it for encapsulate the ombre area. So I'm just going to open it to make the application a little bit faster. So all I'm going to do now is take enough to where I'm going to encapsulate the entire nail. So I just want a very, very thin layer. And you see how quickly I can do this. And I do this for my clients too, not just for my own nails, is I apply them all first, close to the cuticle area, and then I encapsulate. So that way it makes your process a lot faster, so you're not always picking up the tube one by one. So I start at the cuticle area, make sure I blend it very, very thin. And I can control this 100%, right? So if I need to thin out my cuticle area more, then I can always tap and kind of drag and use my brush a little bit on the dry side. So I want to encapsulate all that glitter, but I don't want to build the nails too thick. So if I have extra, it's not a problem, because I can always remove it and then use it for the next nail. That's why I didn't squeeze a whole ton on these nails. I squeezed enough, but I know that I always have extra to run from my previous nails, so I didn't want to put too much because I know that I can always use whatever I don't use on this nail on the next one. Because it's not contaminated, you can use it 100%, but once you are done with the nails, you can't put it back into the tube, so you want to just make sure that you work a little bit at a time. So I use my entire brush to smooth the surface. If I have extra, I can always use it for the next nail. You see that? So there's really no waste at all. Start at the cuticle area, very, very thin. Hold your brush at a 45-degree angle just so we can get that nice tip to match with the cuticle section. And then the rest of the nail, once we got the cuticle smooth and thinned out, then you focus on the rest of the nails to encapsulate. I kind of fold them into the nails a little bit so that way my application won't get too wide. And then one thing I do want to mention is this product is a little bit softer to shape than the acrylic powder. So once it's cured, you actually don't need to put so much pressure to shape the nails. And I like that because, you know, that really helps with your hands not getting too tired. So if you notice, once I get a nice application on the nails, I don't play with the nails anymore. I try not to continue to fix all the small little imperfection because, like I said, this product is softer, so you can always fix the imperfection with the shape of the file. So I know that, you know, sometimes when I train my new students, we're so used to trying to get that perfect shape before it dries that we just keep messing with it. But this product won't dry until we cure it. So all you need to know is get that product smoothed out, apply even pressure, and if you have any extra, you can either save it on the next nail or put it on the paper. But you can see, like, even with all the 5 fingers that I just did, I don't have hardly any waste at all. And that's, you know, one reason is because I'm used to the product. I know exactly how much I need. But for a beginner, I recommend that you start off with less, and then you can always add more from the tube, because we can't put it back into the tube. And it's designed that way for it to be sterile. And also, I'm just using alcohol to apply the product, so there's really no toxic smell at all. I don't smell anything that is harsh, or, you know, that smells very toxic. And my clients really like that. They feel more natural when I use this product on them. Okay. All right, so that is our clear encapsulation. I'm gonna go ahead and cure that for 30 seconds. And then while I have my clients cure, what I do is I take my time to clean my brush. So I just kind of wiggle it into the unused alcohol in here, and then clean out all the residue. And I do that about 3 times, because honestly, there's sometimes the product is stuck inside of the brush. So just wiggle it a little bit. And then at the very end, I take my paper towel and then I do a nice squeeze, and then I bring it back to the shape. And then I put the cap on there so that I could use it for the next time. And then make sure you also clean this side, because that can also get pretty messy, or if it cured near your lamp, then it's hard to remove it. You have to use almost like a razor to scrape it off. Okay, so clean it off nice and well. Okay, so one more step is, you can't tell from the camera, but there is that little bit of sticky residue. How we're going to protect our nails now is we're going to use the top gel so we can seal the surface. And by sealing the surface, we're going to create a nice dry area, surface area, so that way we can shape later on, because if you kept it with a sticky residue, then it's not going to help you while we use our bits. And also, this helps with any of those little air pocket or air bubbles that may be created from the hybrid and the alcohol, and this will seal that as well. So I'm going to take my top gel and just make sure that I cover all my areas, just a nice thin layer. You guys like the design so far? I hope that the way I explain it's understandable, and you guys can see how easy it is really to use this product. Okay, let me just put all my glitters away. So with this hybrid gel system, like I said before, is not as hard as the acrylic powder, so to shape it is very easy. It's going to take you less pressure and shorter time to shape the nails. What I like to use is 100 grit hand filing first to shape the sides, the edges, and then I use my e-file bits. Personally, I like to shape a lot using the e-file because it just makes life a lot easier and it's quicker. I know there's some nail techs out there that love to just do a lot of the shaping with their hands, with the hand filing, which is fine. You know, it's just a preference. It doesn't really mean is one way is better than the other. It's just all preference. Okay, so now the nails is nice and smooth. I can go ahead and shape. I ended up making the nails a little bit too wide, but I'm going to show you how easy it is to just shape off the sides. So I'm going to take my straight edge of my file, hold it parallel to my cuticle area, and then just file it up and down straight. If you want to take off some bulk, just angle your file on top of the nails a little bit. So this here, this is 100% parallel. But if I want to take off any bulk off the top, I'm going to angle my file a little bit like this, and then just take off that bulk on the side. And that'll help me take off the wideness without taking out the shape of the nails. Same thing with the other side. First, I start off with just 100% parallel. And then if I want to take off any bulk here, I'm just going to target that area. It's much easier to take off the bulk with the hand file than it is with the drill. And then I'm going to just shape the very tip. I'm going to not shape this 100% the way that I really want it at this point, because when I use the E-file, sometimes it may misshape anyway, and then I have to come back and redo it. So my goal at this point is just to remove it off the side and to narrow off the nail beds. Okay, you want to do that to both sides. The tips that I have are the square C-curve tips, so it makes it really nice for me to create a very cylinder look without pinching or, you know, applying the product to make it look more C-curved, because the tips is already C-curved. Okay, so you saw how wide it was, but you can see how easy it is to also bring it back and make it more narrow. For those of you that are watching, can you share with us your experience with the hybrid gel system? I know, Ian, how are you doing, Jay? You're watching right now. Can you share with some of our students how you like the hybrid gel? Because I know you're pretty new to the product as well. I'm going to shape both sides. It's so easy to shape. It's just not so hard. But it is strong enough to where the clients can go 3 to 4 weeks without getting a fill. If you know your client is kind of hard on their hands anyway, they do a lot with their hands, you do want to make sure that the stress area here, the apex, is built up, that it's not too thin. So the longer the nails, then the thicker the apex needs to be. Okay, the pinkies are always a little hard to hold. All right, so that looks kind of good. Okay, so let me show you the different bits that I will be using. So the first bit that I like to use is the cuticle bit, which is the cone shape here. I like this bit because it's nice and narrow at the tip, so when you go to target the cuticle area, it makes it very easy for you to see where you're going. You see, so we're going to hold this bit very close to the cuticle, but when you get to the nail top, you want to make sure you lay it as flat as possible and still follow the cuticle area, but try to lay the bit as flat as possible. I'm going to turn this to about 15,000 RPM. So that's 15,000 rounds per minute. And if your file doesn't have a number on it, then you want to just use a low to medium speed. Okay, so I'm just gonna file the cuticle area. I have another bit that I like to use for the body, because this bit is a little bit too narrow, so I feel like it's not good enough to use for the rest of the nails. You can, if the nails are really short, like if it's just a natural nail overlay, you can use this bit for the entire nail. I like to use this bit too for the tip of my C-curve to help me get that nice cleanup, to remove the product. Kind of like define that C-curve a little bit. I could do that to all of them first. Okay, so just the cuticle area. You do want to make sure you move the client's hands to where you can see where you're going. Because I know some of these angles are really hard to see. And because we were able to apply the product with the brush really easy around the cuticle area, there's really not much you need to do because it's not very thick around there. So I just use this just to make sure that I don't have any gel that went inside of the skin. And I feel like with the hybrid, I don't use my file as much either. Okay, just really carefully hold it as flat as possible. When you get to the corners, just try to circle around the cuticle area and follow the shape. Okay. Okay, the next bit we're going to be using is called the safety barrel bit. So the tip of it is rounded and the body of it is like a barrel. So it's nice and wide and it's going to help us shape the nails a lot quicker. So with this bit, I will use about between 20 to 25,000 RPM. So it is going to be a little bit faster. If you're just a beginner, you can use 15,000 until you get more comfortable. So with this bit, we're going to start off by just using the center of the bit. I start at the center of the nail just to get my bearing, just to start getting comfortable with that nail. And then I move it from side to side. I hold it at a 0-degree angle, so that way this bit will just remove anything that is not, that is uneven, to even out the nails. So you can move side to side. If the nails are a little bit longer, you can also move in a down position. I could use this bit to clean up the sides as well, because it's nice and straight. Okay, so again, I start in the center and then move upward. I'm not going to use this bit around the cuticle because I already did that with the cuticle bit. So as the nails are too long, I can use the down motion. So no matter what I do, I always try to remember my starting point. So if I started this bit in the center and move upward and then file the rest of the nails, I'm going to do that to the same action to every single nail that I work on, so that way I have some sort of symmetry, and that way you won't get lost while you're shaping the nails. Okay, so if you want to remove any bulk, you just put a little bit more pressure. Again, you start in the center, and then we move up. Hold the bit as 0-degree angle as possible, so it's just going to be removing any of the unevenness by itself. Keep the bit moving though, because this can cause friction and heat. So you do want to keep it moving, not standing in one position. Okay, so that looks good. So you can see how easy it is to shape and file with the hybrid gel because it is softer. So you don't have to spend a lot of time to put a lot of pressure on the nail bed. And also the application was easy too, because you can apply it as smooth and as possible before you cure it. So that way when it comes to shaping the nails, it won't take a lot of time. Just give her a tapered look. You can always use the stiletto tips and just cut the tip of them, so that way you can have a coffin shape for this length. Okay, so let's remove the dust and see what we have. Okay, I'm going to show you guys one more bit that I like to use. So I'm going to go back to our Russian bit kit. This bit right here is the tapered cone bit. I like this because I can go and use this bit around the cuticle and it can remove a little bit of those dry hangnails for me without using a cuticle nipper. So let's use this bit here. It's called the cone bit from our Russian manicure kit. And I'm going to use about a 10,000 RPM. So it's going to be a little bit faster. If it's too fast and the clients feel sensitivity, you can always lower it a little bit more. So 8,000 RPM. So this bit here is going to help me clear up any of that dry skin very safely. So it's like instead of cutting the cuticle, I'm kind of buffing off the dry skin or any excess of this cuticle area. Sometimes it's like residue from the gel as well, so it's not always the dry skin. I like it because it's really, really safe. You can't cut the skin with this bit, but it helps to define any of those unwanted dry area. So you could push up a little bit more, and it's really, really safe. Okay, so get to those corners here. So you can mix with the regular Tungsten carbide bit and the Russian manicure bits to do your service. I know one time my client's like, wow, you use a lot of bits to do your service. And I said, yes. But when she comes back in 3 weeks, she goes, oh my gosh, my cuticles look really good. It still looks good. So, you know, when you spend more time during a service, it makes a difference for how well their nails are going to wear when they leave your salon. So you do want to pay attention to that and, you know, let them know, explain what each one of these bits are doing so that way they can understand the process we go through to make their nails look good. You see here, so I'm just applying it a little bit on the skin, kind of like just buffing it, but not creating any more damage or trying to expose the skin if it's not there. And some of that residue that you see that's coming off is almost like the gel. Maybe it touched the skin a little bit. Okay. So at this point, you can ask your client to wash their hands, or you can just get paper towel and some alcohol and clean the nails off. So I'm going to clean it off because I want to show you the final look. And then we're going to do some design work. That looks really good. So it's not messy at all. This product is it stays really clean during your application. You know, a lot of my clients don't have any reaction to this product because the only thing that we're really using is alcohol. So when they come back, they tell me that their cuticles doesn't appear to be dry, especially if you have a client that has a lot of dry skin, a lot of dry hangnails, and then they get this done. When they come back, they actually improve their cuticle area, and it looks a lot better. Okay, so now we're going to add some stones. So let's go ahead and do that. So Jane wanted to ask how to take the gel off. Normally to take the gel off is almost like taking off acrylic. You want to thin out the nails and then soak it in acetone, or I wrap it in acetone for a little bit and then file. Well, I file as much as I can first, and then I wrap the nails, and then after 5 to 10 minutes when you're working on the other hand, you come back to it, then it's going to be kind of like, it softens up the hybrid to where you can file it off. It's not going to melt off. It doesn't do that. It doesn't get sticky or gummy. It's just going to like break up, and then you can file the rest of it off. But if you take most of it off first, like with the tornado bit, it makes it a lot faster. I have a video on how I remove the hybrid gel without even soaking, because this product is so easy to remove that, and it's softer and quicker. I don't even put it in acetone because I can file it all the way down to the base gel and then just start over. Okay, so I'm going to add some rhinestones. I'm going to use some of our glue. This is our glue gel here. I'm going to get some nail charm. By the way, if you guys haven't visited the website before, I have tons and tons of nail charms and crystals and rhinestones for you to choose. So let's just do something nice and easy. So wherever I want the stone, I'm going to put the glue first. I'm going to use a pretty big stone for this one. I'm using my stone picker. So the one side is wax and one side is the metal point, so I can pick up the glue. And then I could keep adjusting it until I'm happy. Because this is a big stone, I recommend that you cure this one first. So I'm going to cure it in the light, and then I'm going to move my hand. After every 10 seconds, I'm going to move my hand like this so that the light can get all the way underneath of the stone. Because it's really important for us to cure that big stone first before we do anything else around there. Because if you never cure the stone all the way through, it's always going to remain a little bit wet underneath of that crystal, and that can fall off pretty easy. So I'm going to make sure that I move my hands back and forth every 10 seconds to seal that big crystal. All right, so now that it's nice and secure, I could continue to do the other design. So I'm going to put some stones here maybe. So wherever I want to put the crystals, I'm going to put the crystal gel. I'm going to put the glue gel anywhere I want to put this other stones. So I can even put some of that glue gel underneath of the big stone to seal any of those edges. And then put some small diamonds right there. Let me see, let me add this one here. This is really pretty. This is just a nice long teardrop. It's like a fuchsia pink. I probably have like 20 trays like this. So this is all of my crystals. Makes it nice when it's separated like this, so you can pick it up quick and easy. So we're gonna go with the pink colors. So the glue gel is not going to dry until we are completely done, and then we cure it in the light. So that makes it really nice, because you could continue to work as much as you want to without it drying too fast. If you use nail glue to do crystals, then sometimes the nail glue will dry before you get the crystals onto the nails. So having the glue gel makes it really nice for you to work. And if you need to add more, you can always put more. I love doing rhinestones and crystals because I think that's, you know, really important for you to add on to the service. You know, if you have products that is easy for you to get and it makes you want to recommend putting designs on your clients more. If you don't have the right product, then sometimes you can't recommend your clients to be more creative. So you definitely do want to invest and get a nice collection of products, especially nail art. Because just this nail alone, I can charge $10 to $15 just for the rhinestones. And it's just, you know, a matter of putting fun crystals on the nails, so it's nothing complicated about that. So I just want to kind of do a nice surrounding design around that centered stone that I put on there to give it a little bit more detail. Okay, so some of the areas that are hard to get to, I'm going to show you how we seal that around the cuticle area. Do one more on top here. One more on the top. So these kind of a design is very, very popular because it adds so much character to the nails. And this is a good way for you to customize your nail art. I'm using all different kind of color. I'll do one more right here. So I have between size 3 to size 20 on the nails for the flat stone, and in different colors. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you guys what I do at this point. We're going to take our clear top gel. So this clear also seals the nails on top, and it can seal around the crystals too. So just apply the clear around the stone but not on top, and you can touch the sides of them just so we can smooth out any of the glue gel. Any of the area that is hard to get to, I'm going to show you what I do for that. But first, let me just put clear on all the nails just to seal the top and add the shine. So I'm not going to do anything else to the other nails. I'm just going to apply the top coat and then it'll be finished. So this top coat we want to cure for 60 seconds, okay? So at least 1 minute. If you under cure it and you don't have the total 1 minute on it, then it will not be as shiny. So you do want to make sure to have the client cure and not take their hands in and out, because once they take their hands out of the light, it actually stops the drying process from completing that full minute. So you may need to apply another coat and go in the light one more time. And I have clients that do that accidentally sometimes, and you'll see right away that even after they take it off and put it back in, it may not cure correctly. So you would have to start the whole process over again. Okay, so the last step is I use my hands to just clean off the both sides, because in case the top gel ran, and that can change the shape a little bit too. Okay, so we're gonna final cure for 1 minute, so 60 seconds. You put everything away. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you guys everything that we used today for the hybrid gel. So we have the base, the top. I used the clear, or this is the 60 ml. So we have it in 2 sizes. Make sure you have your regular alcohol solution, 70%. And your hybrid gel brush. Okay. And then our Russian bit kit. And this is our regular bit kits. All right, so after 1 minute, we're gonna see the final look. Okay, how do you guys like that? Just gonna add a little bit of cuticle oil. Isn't that pretty? So try this by yourself or on your client the next time they come in. You can try to do ombre and then encapsulate glitter and sequins, and then crystal work. So I told you earlier, if you have any stones that are really near the cuticle area that's hard to get to, you can use this product here. It's called On Point. So one side is the brush, and I'm going to seal all those little area that I couldn't get to. So this is still, I didn't put it on the crystal, just on the nail bed. Kind of just follow around the stone. And this is a non-wipe, so we're going to cure that for 1 minute, And then this also has a point on top if I need to get in any of those little areas that has a little bit of a gap. So that will help the stone stay on even better. So we're going to final cure this for 1 minute, and then you'll be all done. So I hope you guys enjoy our video today and our class. Make sure you come back and join us again next week on Tuesday. Every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays when I have this class at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. So if you're in the West Coast, make sure you tune in at 5 p.m. If you're in the middle, in the Midwest, then it's going to be 2 hours before. So just check your local schedule, and I hope that you guys will return and you enjoy this video and try this the next time you have your client. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, I will put all the link on this video, and I appreciate you guys for joining us, and have a great night. Thank you.